Hey YouTube, today is February 28th and thank you for stopping by the channel and having a look at the video. So I'm going to jump right into it. Today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite toothache, the carbon tax. Yeah, no, I know. We're all tired of hearing about it, but as Canadians, it is our favorite topic of conversation. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think what bothers me the most about the carbon tax nonsense is all too often in the House of Commons during the question period, the red menace, the Liberals, will stand up and say, Canadians want this. Canadians want clean that. Canadians want no carbon this. Canadians want. I have yet, honestly, to meet an individual that wants what the Liberals are telling us that we want. This is like sitting down to a dinner of rotten rat meat and the chef telling you, no, this is what you want. This is what you want. And the problem is as Canadians, we've just been hearing this so often and for so long, we're worn out. The gaslighting is wearing us out. But I think what I wanted to do today with this video was show you a few things. First, I'm going to take you into a conversation that they had yesterday on the 27th during question period between the PCs and the Red Menace. And then I'm going to take you through some real world examples of how the carbon tax is truly working and what it might be like to live life without this toothache, this root canal. This is what it feels like. Every time I hear the word carbon tax, it just roars right up at me. So let's jump right into this. And so our question period yesterday on the 27th sounded like this.
Well, common sense conservatives will axe the tax, build the home, fix the budget, and stop the crime. This NDP Liberal Prime Minister is not worth the cost. And he's going to make everything more expensive on April 1st with another carbon tax hike, and the effects on Canadians are devastating. A new report from GoFundMe says that Canadians started 200,000 online charity drives to help raise money just to cover day-to-day expenses. Instead of forcing Canadians to ask for help from online crowdsourcing campaigns, why doesn't the Prime Minister do the obvious thing? Cancel his carbon tax hike and stop making things more expensive.
So, up until just recently, and I think that COVID was just this incredible turning point for a lot of us. And not just Canada, the US, the whole world. There was just this massive turning point. And I'm not necessarily blaming COVID, and I'm not going to go down that road. But up until then, Canada was a really, really neat place to live. It was a cool place to live. And for the most part, it still is. Don't get me wrong, because I love living here. I love being Canadian. I love what we have to offer people from all around the world, whether it's natural resources or tourism, sharing just the magnificence of this country. I love it, but there was something that changed. And now everything started there in early 2020, and now we've gone down this road where people are getting online crowdfunding their basic expenditures. Like, what? I was shocked. The first time I heard that, I was shocked. It kind of makes sense to me, but I was shocked. I don't know how successful they are, and yes, we will make the argument that there are people that are misusing that platform and for all of what's going on. But if there are people that are actually going to the world stage and saying, I need help, because my government isn't going to help me, that's a problem. We've lost it somewhere. Now, let's listen to the red side, the red menace.
The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. Speaker, last year was the hottest year on record on the planet. And the Conservative leader and his party continue to deny climate change. Meanwhile, with our carbon rebate, we are putting money back into the pockets of Canadian families. Are they going to vote against $1,200 for Ontario families, $1,800 for Alberta families, $1,200 for Manitoba families? That doesn't sound like common sense to me, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Regina Capel.
So I'm going to jump in here again real quick. So the dollar figures, and I want you to listen to what she said. So the average was about $1,200 across Canada that we're going to get back, depending on the size of the family. And by the way, if you are currently retired and haven't drawn a taxable income last year, you don't qualify for anything. So think about that in terms of how many people that are retired in this country. Okay, the $1,200 ish. Seriously, is that going to offset what I'm paying in carbon taxes for the entire year? No, it's not. Let's just keep listening.
We're going to axe the tax and leave the money in Canadians' pockets in the first place. And Canadians aren't fooled by the shell game. They know the rebate doesn't cover all the costs of the carbon tax as manufacturers and producers raise their prices to pay their share of the carbon tax, and all that gets passed on to consumers. But sites like GoFundMe used to be used to help children who lost their parents tragically, and now Canadians are turning to crowdsourcing to help pay their food bills. Officials say that 56,000 campaigns were started just to pay for the cost of food alone. Why doesn't the Prime Minister just axe the tax so prices can come down?
So I'm not going to drag you through their response because it's going to be the same gaslighting. We're giving them this and we're giving them that, and we're solving the whole climate change issue, which is just crap as far as I'm concerned, at least in terms of what they're solving. I will never dispute that we need to treat the world, the earth, with maybe a little bit more respect, but I don't. Honestly, this is me. I just don't honestly believe that the entire earth is imploding right in front of us. Sorry if I'm offending you, but that's my personal belief. Do we need to steward what we're doing with a little bit more skill and a little bit more respect? 100%. But do we need to tax the living daylights out of our citizens so that they're living in poverty? I'm not entirely sure that that's a good strategy. Let's have a look at gas. So here are some American gas prices at random. So this is Lakeside Fuels in Maine. And they are charging $2.79 US for a gallon of gas. Now, we're Canadians. We don't buy gas by the US dollar, and we don't buy it by the gallon. So let's have a look. So we're going to convert $2.79 per gallon into liters. So see, it's $1. It's $1. I don't know where you live. How would I? But I can tell you where I live in Atlantic Canada right now, gas is $1.67 a liter. 67 cents cheaper. 67 cents cheaper. Let's keep going here. Green pepper. So now let's go from fuel. And if you're buying if you're buying a tank of gas every single week and you're a contractor, you've got a larger vehicle, you've got a family vehicle, and to be honest with you, it's not going to matter what vehicle that you're in, but this $1,200 that they're offering you, do you think that that's going to offset 52 weeks of fuel? I don't think so. Green peppers. Everybody buys green peppers. So at the Atlantic Superstore, you can buy one green pepper for $2.70. Okay. Let's go to Walmart in the States and check that out. So for the same green pepper in the States, it's 86 cents. Okay, well, we know that the US dollar is worth more, right? So let's see what that converts to. $1.17 Canadian. Now, granted, we have to add our HST and we have to add all the rest of it, but why is food over 50% cheaper? Listen, I'll challenge you. I will challenge you. Bring up any major grocer that you want in the US and compare it to grocers in Canada, and you will see the same universal thing when it comes to fresh food. Processed food is a bit of a different story. Meat is a lot cheaper as well. Not quite 50% in my experience, but it is considerably cheaper to buy it in the States. Why? It's the carbon tax. Now, I will concede the fact that there has always been, so if you've been a U.S. shopper, if you're Canadian and you've been a U.S. shopper from time to time, there has always been good deals and bad deals and slight differences in prices. But to see this level of price difference, that's not right. And this is your carbon tax. And on April 1st, it's going up again. And it's supposed to go up substantially. I don't have the exact figure, and quite frankly, I don't want to know. So the question now is what do we do? Well, we can, as we've done up until now, hope for the best. And Canadians, we're polite, and the stereotypes about us around the world are really funny. But we can handle this as we have done historically, which is to just say, well, okay, we'll wait for the next election and we're going to hope for the best. Or we can get pissed. I have yet to meet a single person that isn't fed up with what the Red Menace has done to this magnificent country. And the harm, the financial harm that they've done to us, you and I as citizens. We can't afford anything anymore. The pricing has gone completely berserk. Between inflation and the carbon tax, it is absolutely spiraling out of control. But what is the option? What do we do? What where you're sitting in your chair right now watching this video, what can you do? Well, let's look at that. Why don't you write a letter? This is Justin Trudeau's contact information, widely available, and it's down in the description. Okay, so have a look. And consider what I'm telling you, okay? Just consider it. To get in front of your computer and send an email. And be polite. Be Canadian. Don't be nasty. Don't use hate speech. But let's exercise our rights to our opinions over our elected officials. Something that's lost is the fact that Trudeau works for us. We elected him. This is what a democracy is about. Our elected officials work for us. And we have the right to change that. So you have the legal right to call him, leave a message. You're not going to get him on the phone. We know that. We know he's not going to call you back, okay? But if you joined me and we call and leave so many messages that they have to take notice. We send a fax. Granted, that's that's a dying method of communication, but it's there. We send emails and send another email and send another email and send another email. I am not happy with what you're doing. You are not representing me. You are not representing my needs. You do not represent the needs of this country. You do not know what you are doing. Write a letter. There's the address. His constituency address is right there, and the House of Commons address is right there. Write him a letter. Let's fill the Parliament building with Canadians writing to him saying, listen, you're not doing it right. And every time you say Canadians want this and Canadians want that, you are not representing me. I don't know what Canadians you're talking about. Here's Jagmeet Singh's information. Because he's the guy that's propping up this government. All he needs to do is to back away his support, and we get an election, and we possibly get some changes. I'm not saying that Pierre Poilievre is going to be God's gift to this country. I honestly don't know. But the question is do we have a better shot? And as I close this video, and I really appreciate you hanging on for this long, there is something to think about. I watched a video. I tried to find it to show you guys, and if I find it, I'll post it. But Jordan Peterson was talking about the coming election next year, and he had a very interesting but terrifying theory. The likelihood that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives get a majority government next year is very strong. Judging by the polls that we're seeing right now, it's a good possibility that this is what's going to happen. But if Trudeau is given the next year to trash this country financially the way he's been doing so up until now, and he's accelerating his spending. How much more did he give to Ukraine last week? How many more billions of dollars did he toss at Ukraine? And I'm not saying Ukraine needs help or doesn't need help, excuse me. What I'm saying is we have people that are starving. We have people that are freezing to death. They're sleeping on the streets. They've lost their apartments. They can't afford apartments. There are no apartments. You look after your own first. But if he continues, the question is, will Poilievre even be able to have a country to fix? That's the question. That's the question. Will Poilievre have something to fix? I encourage you, write a letter, make a phone call, send a fax, send an email. It takes a couple of minutes of your time, and there's no cost to it. But let's save this country. This is a magnificent place to live. This is a gorgeous place to live. This is an awesome place to live. Let's save it. Thanks very much for hanging in. If I've earned it, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button so that you get alerted the next time I post a video. Have a great day.